Hello everybody, Little Gamer here, and today we will be making the Mansfield family home. This is a 2-bed, 1-bath house, and it is the home of August and Amelia Mansfield, who are brother and sister. Amelia is a child, and August is a young adult. Now, in their video, I went on to touch about their story, which is their backstory, basically. But I didn't really tell you much about Amelia. I was so focused on August, I completely just spaced on telling you about Amelia and where she came from. Now, her backstory isn't as bad as August, so it shouldn't really be triggering, so that's why I am telling you now. After August left his family home, when he left at 16, but when he was about 21 or 22, his mother and father decided to go get therapy, and his mother, she changed her ways, and so did his father, but of course they didn't know where he was, so there's no way that they could get in contact with him, so there's no way they could tell him that they had changed and that they had grown and learned from their mistakes. And basically, after a few years of their therapy and, going through the motions to make themselves better individuals, they eventually had sweet little Amelia. Sadly, when August was about 26 years old and she was 4, they passed in a car crash. They did pass in a car crash, and but little Amelia was being watched by a babysitter at the time, so she was not in it and she did not witness anything. But yeah, and then CPS found him, tracked him down as next of kin, and basically, brought her to his house, which the second bedroom was an office at the time, but he did take her in. He's like, yeah, I'm her only family left. I wasn't there for her childhood, for her birth, or to what he felt like was to protect his parents. Protect his sister from his parents. I'm sorry, I've got the hiccups. But yeah, so he took her in, and he has raised her since she was 4 years old to the little 10-year-old she is now. So that's about 8 years, I think. No, 6 years. Yeah, 6 years. And he's done a pretty decent job. Now, he does have them both in therapy, both August and Amelia are in therapy. This is just so, one, that they have a healthy communication method, and he doesn't know what or if Amelia went through anything, so that's why he has therapy for her, so that she has access to these coping skills and understanding of things, and to deal with his own childhood trauma. But yes, that is a little bit about them. Now, currently, to the current day, they do still have therapy, of course, but current day, Amelia is in acting classes and sewing classes and singing classes, and she does sports. She's got a lot of extracurricular activities, and she's got quite a few friends. And by quite a few, I mean about 5 or 6. She doesn't have like 20 or 30, but she's got like 5 or 6, which, considering me having one as a kid, 1 or 2 here or there, and even then they weren't actual friends. They barely showed up to any of my birthday events at all, ever, even when I threw a party. I never had kids show up to my birthday parties. It was very depressing. But that's changed once I become an adult. But eventually I just stopped throwing birthday parties, because I'm like, you know what? My mom and dad, they worked so hard to pay for this, and the fact that nobody shows up, except for the occasional handful of cousins, it's not worth it. I might as well just spend that money shopping, And I did. I took that money and I got myself new things, and they were very pretty things for the time, for a kid in the early 2000s. So you can imagine the kind of jeans I wore. Oh God. Um, but yes, she's in a lot of extra curricular activities. She also loves to garden. You will see that I will put a little gardening area in the back here soon. Um, and she loves to decorate the house. So once every 3 or 4 months, August will take his little sister, take about $100 max, which I know that seems like a lot for an 8-year-old. Well, not 8-year-old, shit, 10-year-old to have access to once every 3 months. It's really nothing compared to the paychecks he makes. Um, so it's like part of a paycheck. I think like a third of it, really, if we're gonna look at the finances of everything. But yeah, what he does is he'll take about 100 simoleons and he'll take her out and he'll be like to like either a knick-knack shop or a thrift store and be like, have at it, kiddo. And she has at it. She's the one who has put all the flowers and floral decorations. She's the one who's decorated the back patio and the mailbox, and basically just done everything to make the house look very pretty. Now, that doesn't mean that the house wasn't nice when August was decorating it himself before she ever, began. But it was very masculine. There were football jerseys and soccer jerseys and, posters about aliens and war and destruction and, typical masculine things that really, sweet little Amelia didn't really vibe with too well. I'm sorry, my cat keeps getting in my face. He wants to help me record. Are you trying to help me record, Tater Tot? Yeah, bitch, I'm fucking trying to help you record, but you won't let me do nothing. It's 'cause you got clumsy paws, baby. Okay, you can give kisses. That's sweet. But yeah, she's basically the one who did all the decoration. She begged August to get a new patio chairs and a new, little patio table. She begged him for like 4 months straight, and he's just like, this is like $400, sis. And she's like, I know. It's why I'm begging you. I'm 10. I don't know how I'm gonna get $400. Which, honestly, solid thinking there, Amelia. You're right. I don't know where a 10-year-old's gonna get $400, especially in this day and age. I mean, I can have a few ideas, but it's not exactly legal in most states. Child labor. Not. Oh God, I'm sorry. There are some people whose minds go there, and I'm like, no, that's not what I mean. Baby, please get off the computer. Thank you, honey. Thank you, very good boy. But child labor. There's only a certain amount of hours that children are allowed to work, which makes sense because they're children. I think it's Wisconsin, though, but they're trying to repeal those laws because, we've got a worker shortage. Bullshit. You don't have a worker shortage. You just have a shortage of workers who are willing to be treated like slaves and shit and abused daily for unlivable wages. Okay, Brenda? How about you pay them more? I know, mind-boggling, I know. And a lot of people are like, well, if you pay them more, then the price of living's going to go up. Well, guess what, Brenda? The price of living has been going up anyway. And minimum wage means the minimum amount of money for an individual to live on. Did you not know that? I'm sorry, I get real pissed off. My mom and dad, for the entirety of my life, we were poor. We're not rich by any means, but we're lower middle class. It's to the point to where I know that if anything happens to my mom, we're gonna be in a shithole. We're gonna lose a lot of shit. I'll probably have to give up all of my animals, and that would be heartbreaking. So I'm like, Mom, please don't die. Don't let anything happen to you, please. Of course, I'd be terrified and, like, absolutely broken if my mom passed, but, you know what I mean. Um, yeah. Topics. I'm sorry, I'm tired. It's like, 10:58 p.m. While I'm recording this, and I've been trying to do this all day. My computer deleted these videos 2 different times, and I'm a little miffed, and tired. So basically, that's basically how they are. It took Amelia about 3 months, 3 to 4 months of constant begging for him to be like, okay, okay, I will get it. We will get it. But this is the only big present, big thing that you get for the next 2 years. And she's okay with that. She is. She's like, I got a back patio table with matching chairs. She's happy about that. And she's going to be happy about that. Until she sees something else she wants that's about $400. And I hate to break it to you, but August is probably going to cave if she does, because he wants her to have everything he didn't have. Even if that means spoiling her a bit, But yeah, he just wants to give her everything he didn't have as a child. So, yeah, if she sees something very expensive that she wants, he'll save up a few paychecks for it. He makes about $1,000 per paycheck, so it's nothing too big, but still, that's a good chunk of money, He's like, and he's perfectly aware of things that could happen. So he does put a good portion of that money that he makes, after bills and mortgage payments, and by mortgage payments, I mean non-existent mortgage payments, but he does save up a lot, so she has access to money when she goes to college to, one, pay for college, and two, actually live and survive while at college. I know it's mind-boggling. People who do save up for college, their only mind is they've got to be able to pay to go to college, and then they're like completely forgetting that they also need money to eat in college and pay other bills in college. And then there's like possible emergency expenses that you gotta calculate when you save these. Calculate things, people. But yeah, he's got about $30,000 already saved up in her little quote-unquote trust fund. It's not in a bank. He's not putting it in a fucking bank. He doesn't trust banks. He works as a criminal, so he knows how weak and untrustful and easy it is to steal from a bank. So, because he's a criminal. He that's what he does for work. He works as a thief. That is what he does. Which, honestly, no shame. I mean, if you're, like, rich and you're stealing from the poor, honestly, you can go fuck yourself. But if you're, like, poor and you're stealing yourself, like, baby food or diapers or, hell, pacifiers, I get it, honestly. If you can't afford a formula and you are unable to breastfeed, or it's just something that has a lot of trauma around it, and you got no other way to feed your kid, I'm perfectly fine with someone stealing formula. The fact that you can go to stores and see that they've locked away formula speaks volumes. I don't mean to be political, but I hate capitalism, It's a hellscape. I'm not saying any other government's... shit. I'm not saying any other government's good, or that any other one's perfect, because governments in themselves are flawed systems. So is anarchy. Anarchy is also a flawed system. There's no order. But also, within order, there can be flawed systems. So it's really just hard. I mean, if we didn't live in a society, we wouldn't have any of these issues. But, have you guys ever done that? Is it normal to just go off on tangents with things? Like, I know Fake Gamer Girl does it. I love her videos, by the way. 10 out of 10. Would watch 1,000 of them. But is that normal, or do I have anxiety and ADHD? Which, by the way, I do have both of those. They're fun. They make me quirky. But, yeah. And of course, you gotta take into account that he does work as a criminal, okay? That's his job. He works, I like to think he works in a mafia. Not one of those serious, oh my god, I trusted you. My mother gave you her cannoli. My dead mother. And you gave me the rug of a skunk's butt. And honestly, oh, for the love of God. Sorry, my cat was getting into something, so I sort of just stopped and was like, oh, for the love of God. Sometimes I just get irritated with them. I love them, but sometimes cats can be irritating. I love them, but oh my God. Uh, but yes, as I was saying, he does work in, like, the mafia, but I don't think it's one of those, I trusted you. I thought you was a brother. I considered you a brother of mine. Just, I don't think it's one of those very serious Italian mafias. I think it's one of those goofy ones you see on TV, without all the racial stereotypes. Gotta put that in, without the racial stereotypes. I know the mafia is a very Italian racial stereotypes. People are like, Italians are in the mafia. They're rich and they'll kill you if you cross them. And I'm just like, not all Italians are like that. It's a very small number, by the way. But yes, I think he works for one of those goofy little thief indicates from cartoons. And so he's got a pretty penny sort of way, but he always covers his tracks too. So he's sort of not very noticeable. When it comes to the police, that and he knows how they work, so he can sort of avoid them. They're not really good at their jobs. I mean, have you ever met a police officer or a detective? For fuck's sake, I've had teenagers fucking solve crimes before a fucking cop does. Down here in the South, if you want something done, you do it your goddamn self. That's how it is for the most part, especially for us womenfolk down here. If you want something done, you do it your damn self. Because you know for a fact, no fucking man's gonna do it fucking correctly. Of course, it stresses us out, and a woman's work is never fucking done, It's just, it does. It stacks. And they're like, oh, if I do it, I'll mess it up. No, honey. I'm like, yeah, sure, you will mess it up, but you can always learn how to do it. And I know that that's weaponized incompetence, but still. But yeah, I think he works for one of those goofy little crime syndicates from, like, cartoons and shit. Now, I do apologize for kind of, like, the speediness of this. If this makes you, like, feel motion sickness, I'm sorry. Now, we're moving on to Amelia's room. Amelia, she loves the color pink. She also loves the color green and purple. But she detests the color gray. Don't know why. She just doesn't like it. She hates it. And as you can see, it's a pretty small room, but she likes it. She likes it small like that. And honestly, I don't blame her. I also like smaller rooms. Now, I would love for my room to be a bit bigger and full of shelves so I could put up all my knickknacks, but I also have a cat, and I know that the moment I do that, everything would beat the floor. I'm probably going to have to clean some glass up here later because I think he may have broke something. Which I'd rather him break some glass than break himself, you know what I mean? Because that's far more expensive. That glass only cost me about $5 or $6, but that cat will cost me about $200. You know what I mean? Good Lord, they're expensive. Speaking of expensive with animals, why are vets so expensive? Like, I know why. I understand it, but at the same time, pet insurance needs to be far more available. But then again, I'm like, I live in America. Health insurance for humans is still an ongoing topic. It's gonna be literal centuries before they even consider affordable pet insurance. Or vice versa, they'll actually take the pet insurance far more serious than the human insurance, which will be not really all that surprising, because here in America, we value human life until it's born. We only value human life until before it's born. That's when we value it. after it's born. We don't give a fuck. But anyway, we're getting to the end of this video, and I'm sorry for getting off on my tangent. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you all have a good day, and I hope you stay safe out there. Bye-bye!